How do you deal with our past so that we're free from guilt and shame? Well, first of all, we have to face the truth. You can't run from your past. Wherever you go, you are there. Your past is the truth about you. Your past is the truth that you can't deny. It is what you were living for at that time. It is the relationship that you had. It is the place that you went. That is the truth. And Jesus says to the woman, go get your husband. And she says, I don't have a husband. And he says, you're right. You had 5, and the one you're sleeping with now isn't your husband. Let's face the truth. Second of all, you got to accept the truth. No longer blame others. No longer bury it. Stop blaming yourself. God has forgiven it, so forgive yourself. It all goes back to the first 3 pages or 3 chapters of the Bible. Chapter 1, we have the Big Bang. That's right. The Big Bang was God said, and bang, there it was. And God said everything was good. In chapter 2, we have an expanded account of God making Adam and Eve. And then we have chapter 3, they messed up and they hid from God. You see the problem here? Adam, where are you? And they said, we're hiding. And he said, what have you done? And then they started blaming God and others. It's not my fault. Adam said, Eve, the woman you gave me. Eve said, that serpent. God says, really? Just accept it. You ate. You sinned. Now, third, we will have to accept God's grace, not the guilt. Well, how do you do that? Well, the world has some options. Option number 1 is be better. And when you do better, you'll feel better. Well, that doesn't work. I can be the best I can be, but that doesn't erase what I've done and who I was. Option number 2 is, the world says, think better of yourself. Well, the problem is, no amount of positive thinking will ever erase what you did or who you were. Option number 3, God says the only solution is a spiritual experience of radical acceptance from God. That's why Jesus had to go to Samaria. She needed to have this experience with Jesus. Nothing else would work. Jesus said, lady, you could say a prayer and you could feel good, but you got to go back to the town and you're going to return to those people who talk about you and you're not going to feel good any longer. So Jesus says, tell me everything that you have said and you've done. So when you face these things again, you can shrug your shoulders and say, hey, Jesus knows and he loves me. He's accepted me. And they say, well, does he know about husband number 3? Yes. Well, does he know about husband number 4? Yes. And he even knows about husband number 5. Well, does he know that the person you're sleeping with now isn't your husband? He knows that. It's done. I'm accepted. My acceptance came when I told him the whole truth. And he loves me and he accepts me. And now when I worship and I lose myself in his presence, there is nothing hidden. And when Satan accuses me right in the middle of my praise to the Lord, I just tell him, Jesus knows and he loves me and he accepts me, and Satan leaves me alone. You may think you're too broken, you're too marred, you're too unlovely, too unacceptable. But when you tell Jesus, that's me, that's what I did, no more excuses, I did that. And I thank you, in spite of what I did, I'm loved. That I'm called your brother or sister, that I'm called your son or daughter, that I'm called a prince or a princess in the kingdom, that I'm an heir to your throne. well, wow. There's no more going backwards. Why? Because I brought the truth out to God.